Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis for Stellar XLM. I'll be covering some significant support and resistance areas, the 50-day simple moving average and why that's extremely important to watch, as well as the ratio with respect to Bitcoin and how opportunity costs can be quite high with Stellar on the long term. So if you guys enjoy the content, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also consider checking out our sponsors and partners over at ftx.us. This is a great exchange where you can buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency. And if you sign up with my link in the description below, you can get a 5% discount on exchange fees. It is a great exchange. I do recommend checking them out. All right, so I'm going to start off with XLM on the daily chart, and let's first talk about this blue line, which is the 50-day simple moving average. So you can see how we've actually had quite a big deal of rejections off of this level. You can see back here, earlier on in this year, we had several rejections, again, coming up into this level, forming as resistance, and then continuing lower. And then eventually we had this move where we got back above it. It was a failed breakout, meaning when we came back below to retest it as support, we did not bounce off of it. In fact, we came back below it and then rejected off of it once again. And again, you can see a similar thing playing out here where we do have those rejections off the 50-day average. We came back above this for a brief period of time. And on this retest back earlier on in August, you can see we actually fell right below it, did not bounce off of it, did not hold it as support, and this is ultimately looking like a similar pattern where we do have a failed breakout. So one of the things to watch out for in, say, the next few weeks is if we can actually get back above this and then reclaim it and flip it into support. So as an illustration, what that would look like is if the price action is getting back above this level on a move up and then coming back down, and then hopefully if we can retest it, bounce off of it, hold it as support, and then continue higher, ideally taking out some of these levels. Something like this playing out would be a little bit more bullish. You wouldn't have the risk of forming these lower highs off of this level, but rather you could actually flip it into support, bounce off of it, and in the event of some sort of correction, this is the level you could look to. All right, so now I want to talk about other support levels here, which is going to be this very key level around 8.5, 9 cents. All right, so if we scroll all the way back here to get price action back in 2019, I want to focus on how this was an extreme level of resistance. We had this first retest of support here in December of 2018. So this level was established in December of 2018 on our first test of it. You can see we had a few more bounces off of it, and then eventually we broke down below it. And throughout 2019, we had several rejections. You can see this rejection in September, another rejection here in November, and then later on in the next year, February, we had another rejection. And the point here is that we did have a lot of retests of this level, each one forming some sort of resistance point. You can see, again, several rejections off this level. And actually, we can see that today, the lows are about 10% off this area. So watch out to see if we're starting to break below those lows and then head back down to this level, because given how it was previously longer term strong resistance, it could potentially flip into longer term strong support. So look out to the 50-day average if we are starting to repeat the same pattern we had back in March, where we have a failed breakout above this and maybe some sort of rejection off this, and then look to the 9 to 8.5 cent level as some sort of longer term support. All right, so now I want to switch over here to a weekly chart. And I just want to look at some other moving averages here on the weekly, because I think there's a very important level to watch out for, which is going to be this band, which is the red line, the 20 SMA, and then the green line, the 21 EMA. Again, they form a band of resistance, and as you can see, this is the level we rejected off back here in March. Again, that failed breakout above the 50-day average. And you can see currently that's where the level has come up to on this high back here on the week of August 8th. And again, it looks pretty similar here where we might have some sort of lower high on the longer term view where we came right up into resistance. We might have a lower high and then potentially some lower lows following. And again, look out to this level around 8.5 to 9 cents. You can see this level as strong resistance on the weekly as well. All these wicks coming up to this level and then ultimately rejecting from there. So let's talk about the XLM Bitcoin chart, which I think is going to be very important to watch for. So basically this chart shows you the ratio of XLM and its performance against Bitcoin, and it shows you also the opportunity cost, because if you're investing in XLM, those dollars are not being invested in Bitcoin. And when this chart is in a downtrend, that means XLM is underperforming Bitcoin. And in just a moment here, I'm going to show you a snapshot of the previous cycle just to give you an illustration of what this chart represents. Because even though it can be quite apparent in the downtrend, I really think you should be understanding what this downtrend represents. Why is this important? Why does it matter? And why should we look at this when considering a longer term market analysis for XLM? So we can see this downtrend started in January of 2018, and ever since that time frame, we've really just been in this massive downtrend, forming the lower highs, and then rejecting off a point that is lower than the previous high. So that's sort of the general structure of the downtrend. You can see we've taken out support levels time and time again, really just forming those lower lows. A pretty consistent downtrend. Again, you can see we've actually flipped this level around 575 Satoshis. This was longer term support. This was where the lows were back in 2019 as well as 2020. And then again, you can see that level has actually flipped into resistance on this move back up in June. So watch out for these longer term downtrends, because right here, I'm going to show you what this represents. So this is a historical snapshot of CoinMarketCap. Basically, this is a website that tracks all the cryptocurrencies, all the specific price points, and it actually lets you do a historical snapshot of cryptocurrency prices from a specific date when the XLM Bitcoin ratio peaked. And you can see on this day, Bitcoin was $15,200. This was all the way back here in 2018 when the bear market began. You can see Ethereum was $962. And if we go all the way down here, XLM was 89.6 cents. So the thing here is to note that Bitcoin has gone up from this time frame by about 50%. Ethereum has gone up by about 60%. So the highest market caps today have done pretty well. They've outperformed the rest of the market. They've had pretty nice returns since this time frame, but Stellar is down nearly 90% since this time frame. So this just goes to show you that this is what the downtrend represents. This is what it means when we say Stellar is underperforming Bitcoin. And as you can see, it's actually been underperforming Ethereum as well. And this is not me picking on Stellar. This is not me saying it's a terrible altcoin. I'm just showing you what this represents. You can apply this to many other altcoins. You can see XRP is down significantly from then, Bitcoin Cash as well, Litecoin as well, even Cardano right here, which was around $1.08. So the point here is to notice what this downtrend represents, why this being in a longer term decline is not good, because it has a high opportunity cost with respect to Bitcoin. If you're investing in Stellar for the longer term, you want to see this reverse, because personally for me, I would rather just hold Bitcoin. If I'm having an investment, those dollars in XLM are not being invested in Bitcoin, and you're choosing Stellar over Bitcoin, which to me, looking at this longer term downtrend doesn't make sense. Now, obviously, this does not have to stay in a downtrend, and we can look to some sort of longer term reversal, and that could clearly happen, but we don't have any clear and definitive signs of a reversal yet. So what a sign of a longer term reversal would look like is maybe we have some sort of higher low where we're coming back above this region, again, flipping that back into support, and then potentially starting this uptrend where, again, higher highs and higher lows. This is what I want to see for a longer term perspective, and this is what I need to see in order to get bullish on XLM with respect to Bitcoin. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. Once again, check out our sponsors in the link in the description below. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.